I give up. I just give up. Hey guys, what's up? It's the Culture Detective here, investigating your favorite albums, and today I'm going to continue with my Pink Floyd album review series. And today I will be reviewing the album released in 1975, Wish You Were Here. This is pretty much Pink Floyd's ninth full-length studio albums, and they have had a really, really good run. So, Pink Floyd, psychedelic rock, progressive rock band, absolutely legendary, one of the most creative and innovative bands of history ever. They are back, and after the early Baroque pop roots to the experimental Saucerful of Secrets to the very strange and experimental, maybe a little too much Uma back to the psych rock on Atom Heart Mother. Very good album despite a few flaws with metal. The absolutely classic, legendary, near flawless Dark Side of the Moon, and now we have Wish You Were Here. And similar to Dark Side of the Moon, this album is very much a prog rock, art rock, psych rock, a little bit of psych album. And different from Dark Side of the Moon, Dark Side of the Moon is a concept album about things that make people mad. Money, time, mental illness, mortality. This album is about missing someone, just like the title suggests, Wish You Were Here. Because if you don't know this, earlier on, the band has Syd Barrett. But because of mental health issues, Syd left the band and basically disappeared from the world. And of course, the band was, pretty sad about it. They, of course, miss Syd a lot. But this is a universal message. Again, what I love about their concept albums is that missing someone is a universal thing. Anyone from the world, even animals, they miss things and they miss each other. And on this album, 5 tracks only, and actually 4, but the first track and the last track are basically the same tracks but split into 2. So technically 4 tracks, but actually 5 tracks. And it's again a concept album. Instrumentally, it's just as fantastic as the instrumentals on Dark Side of the Moon. Really well mixed instrumentals, very colorful and vibrant as well. The vocals are mixed perfectly. The performances are really nice and matured. And instrumentally, there really is nothing to complain about on this album. One thing I'll say is that the vibes of the instrumentals are definitely different from Dark Side of the Moon. That's what I love about Pink Floyd's music, is that on every single album they manage to sound slightly different. On this album, it sounds more nostalgic and a little more sad and moody than Dark Side of the Moon, which is very grand, bold, ambitious, beyond time and existence. Album starts off with Shine On You Crazy Diamond, parts 1 to 5. A lot of people nowadays know about Pink Floyd because of, JoJo. And I'm really happy to announce this. And I love JoJo, by the way. But I started listening to Pink Floyd when I was like 13-ish. And I only recently learned about JoJo. I was like, 17 or 16. So yeah, I went into this album with clean ears when I was an early teen, and not gonna lie, this album blew my mind. Just like Dark Side of the Moon, just like Animals in the Wall, this album blew my mind. Even though it has 5 tracks, 5 very quality tracks, and definitely applies to Shine On You Crazy Diamond, which is a multi-faceted 25-minute long epic about Syd Barrett. Shine On You Crazy Diamond, SYD, Syd. And obviously the band really misses him. And this is one of the most beautiful, fantastic moody but also artsy and dreamy and also nostalgic tracks of all times, and it is beautifully arranged. Part 1 is, of course, a bed of atmospheric synths, some woodwinds on top. I don't know if it's a synth imitating a woodwind or if it's really a woodwind, but it sounds crisp. And then we get the winding guitars, which are very, very, very beautiful. So obviously, Pink Floyd, they are masters of building atmosphere. And then part 2, we start to get the guitar chord, and they are just, they really shine. You can really feel them shine. It's golden. It goes bam, 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 and it just keeps on repeating, and it just shines in the dark. And it's very, very beautiful. And then that's when the drums enter the track, and it just adds so much flavor and personality to the track. Part 3 is where we get a synth solo as well as a guitar solo. The guitars, they feel troubled, they feel worrisome, but they also paint a very beautiful, very pretty, gorgeous image. And part 4 is when the vocals come in. They are soft, they're harmonic, they're beautiful. I really love the line, "Come on, you stranger, you legend, you martyr, and shine." The lyrics, they're really written with a lot of thought. A lot of the lyrics are very poetic, and it's actually really touching how much effort is put into this track in tribute to a band member that left the band. It's actually really touching. Part 5 is where it really shines. It becomes kind of groovy with its skippy rhythms and a very beautiful, polished sax solo. Over to the second track, Welcome to the Machine. Another track that I think is super duper underrated, an absolutely fantastic track. And this track and the next track, Have a Cigar, are two tracks not about missing someone or about Syd Barrett, but more about the music industry. Obviously, Welcome to the Machine refers to the music industry, just churning out artists, not caring about the art at all. And exactly what happens on this track. It's very mechanical, very robotic and industrial. The vocals, they feel robotic, they feel cold-blooded. We get these mechanical chugging sounds, a card swipe, a door, static buzzes. It sounds very futuristic. Yet it's released in 1975. I mean, they're just really ahead of their time. And the guitars, the synths, they sound intoxicated. And then we have the opening lines, which are horrifying. "Welcome, my son. Welcome to the machine." And later on, "Provided with toys, scouting for boys. You bought a guitar to punish your ma." So obviously, everyone's not naturally born in this music industry. Everyone's spoon-fed. The ascending guitars sound kind of horrifying on this track. I also really love the bold drums on this track that feel very distant, and in a way it sounds like a little clump in the middle of a machine just churning out. These squabbing synthesizers, they just feel very toxic. It's like, ooh. And the ending of the track, the way we sort of leave that factory that we entered in the beginning of the track, and then we start to hear people laughing, people enjoying. It's like, wow, entertainment for the people. Over to the next track, Have a Cigar, which is also a track about the music industry. And this track is very different from the previous Welcome to the Machine, which is cinematic and scary. This one, it's a swagger track. The guitars are mid-paced. It still has a touch of a progressive psych rock tone, but it's actually a really jammy rock swagger track that isn't much about the music industry directly, but this track basically impersonates a guy who is apparently an A&R type, the kind of person in the music industry who would, tell artists to make music so that they would gain the profit, they would get the money. That's all they care. They don't care about the art, they care about the money. And I love this track as well. I love the jangly guitars that are crispy and layered. The vocals on this track are neither Waters nor Gilmore, but actually Roy Harper, who actually sounded fantastic on this track as a cigarette smoking douchebag. I also really like that in the climax of this track, it turns to something comforting yet loud with its soaring angelic pianos, and then it would just stoop back to the nasty, greedy guitars. Overall, fantastic track. Next up, it's the title track, Wish You Were Here. And, wow. Wow, where do I even begin? This might be my favorite song ever. This might be my favorite song ever. Now, if you want me to pick one song that is my absolute favorite, that would be impossible because I love so many songs. But Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd is one of those rare songs that I would put on a high pedestal because I just love it so much. It's alongside, Radiohead's How to Disappear Completely, and maybe I really can't think of any other song that I love as much as this and that Radiohead song. This song hits me in the feels. This song is about missing someone, and it really resonates with me. Even though I'm only 17 years old, a lot of people that I like and love have entered and exited my life. They have came and gone, and thinking about each and one of them really hurt. So this song, the first time I listened to it, I love it. The second time, I love it even more. This song is easily the slowest song and the quietest song on the entire album, but it doesn't mean it's the least eventful or the least powerful. In fact, this is one of the most powerful pieces of music I've ever come across. Ever. It's so moving, but yet it's so sad. It's so troubled. The guitars in the beginning, the way they're, subtly muffled, the way they're very sweet, but also it sounds like the guitars, they are trying to recall a very sweet memory while trying to move on in the present day when they have to move on with their very gray and bleak lives, but yet the sweet, beautiful memory is still hanging in the back of their minds. The guitars, they're just so friggin' beautiful. Bam, 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 bam. And on this track, David Gilmour sings, and his vocals is not bad at all. It sounds like he's the way he sings, he doesn't sound sad, but he sounds like he's questioning the world, or at least questioning the person that he misses, and asking a bunch of these questions, but yet not really receiving any answers. That's really painful. It sounds like David Gilmour was trying really hard to reach out to that person, but that person is already gone. The pianos and the drums, the way they go together, it's very powerful, heartbreaking. It's melancholic, but it's aware that it is what it is. You can't really change the fact that the person is gone, the person has exited your life. Maybe the person has gone, and you have no power on that. So it's really sad. And then we have the lyrics. The lyrics are all the lyrics, every single line, every single word is written to perfection. It's so poetic, so you think you can tell heaven from hell, blue skies from pain. Can you tell a green field from a cold steel rail, a smile from the veil? Do you think you can tell? Did they get you to trade your heroes for ghosts, hot ashes for trees, hot air for a cool breeze, cold comfort for change? Did they get you to change a walk-on part in the war for a lead role in a cage? Wow. Especially towards the end when it hits the chorus, how I wish you were here. We're just two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl year after year. and the way the vocals and the guitars they sync up, it's beautiful. It's one of the most gorgeous songs I've ever came across, and no one can convince me otherwise. Anyways, the album ends off with "Shine on You, Crazy Diamond" Part 6 to 9, and it's a very amazing ending for the album. Again, 12 minutes long. The parts 1 to 5 is 13, so together 25, almost 26. On part 6, it's windy. We get this consistently flickering bass and these wailing synths, and also very nice crispy skipping rhythms together. They sort of build back the very grand, life-affirming, nostalgic, dreamy atmosphere that the first track has. Part 7 is when the very beautiful melancholic melody sort of return, the tempo sort of changes and slows down, and we get the vocals once again. What really breaks my heart is the lyrics. They are about Emily. And if you don't know this, in the early years of Pink Floyd, Syd Barrett wrote a song called See Emily Play, and now they're sort of recalling that, like, now that Emily's gone, now that Emily's not here, when Emily's sad, it's like Syd Barrett's spirit still lives in this song. In the studio they record the song in, it's powerful. Part 8 is where we get the jangly guitars that are very skippy, they're crisp, they're crunchy, and we also get the funky disco vibe, which is very nice. It almost feels like the band has passed the phase of, feeling sad and regretful. And part 9 is where the piano slowed down and it sounds really sad, tragic, painful. And at the very, very, very final moment, all the instrumentals, they have a very sweet resolve towards the end, and it's not the kind of resolve that goes, this is the meaning of life. It's the kind of resolve that is more like, well, we can't do anything about it, might as well move on with life. And I actually really appreciate this kind of resolve. 5 tracks, long review, because every single track are great, and so much more than great. And I love this album. I think it's incredibly underrated. I think a lot of people are looking at, The Wall and Dark Side of the Moon, and neglecting this gem. The album cover. It's like, how did they even take this photo? Like, man, it's such an artistic album cover. It's beautiful. Pink Floyd is no stranger to beautiful artwork here. Now that I've mentioned Pink Floyd, these words, I forgot to mention that on the track Have a Cigar, one of the lines is, oh, by the way, which one's Pink? Because Pink Floyd, but the band has 4 members, but the guy obviously doesn't care, so which one's Pink? Which one's Floyd? That's quite funny. So I love this album. My favorite track here is the title track, and my least favorite, if I have to pick one, is Have a Cigar, even though I also love that track. Feeling a 10 on this thing. 10 out of 10. Once again.